A few videos ago, I talked about my lack of ability to be able to finish things or follow through sometimes. Or I guess I should say, instead of lack of ability to, I should say my struggle with completing things, because it's not to say that I'm never finish anything at all. So November was National Novel Writing Month, for those of you guys that don't know that. And during National Novel Writing Month, there is a nonprofit organization that I think it's a nonprofit anyway, um, that kind of gives people the opportunity to write a novel in the 30 days of November. So you're supposed to start blank in November and just kind of write 50,000 words in that month. And the abbreviation for National Novel Writing Month is NaNoWriMo, for those of you guys who have heard of it. And I've always wanted to do NaNoWriMo because I've always wanted to write a novel. But so when I knew I was going to take this gap year, I was like, oh, this November I'm going to do NaNoWriMo. And then I just kind of started it a week late, really. I started talking in that video, I think, before about sort of like a little short story that I started, and that turned into like my NaNoWriMo novel. And it just, it was going okay, but I never wanted to talk about this on video blog because I was highly suspicious of myself that I would not finish it. But I knew if I did finish it, I would feel really good. Well, news, I did not finish it, and I still haven't finished it, and I haven't actually looked at it since before Thanksgiving, so dang it. But I did manage to write about 15,000 words, which is a very small fraction compared to the 50,000 that's supposed to be the actual novel. In my defense, I started a week late, like I said, but I did start it, and I probably will finish it sometime, even though it's not during National Novel Writing Month, and maybe that'll be something that I try again in the future. Okay, and with the theme of not finishing things, I thought I would tell a story here that I don't think that many people, except for like maybe my mom, really know. And it's not really a big deal, but it's something that I did a long time ago that was kind of stupid. So my sophomore year of college, I was taking a differential equations class, and there were 3 tests. There was the first test is the midterm and the final, and that was your grade, with the exception of like some weekly quizzes that we did, and I did fairly okay on those quizzes, and as you do in any math class basically, and there are homework points and participation points, but basically it was the 3 exams. On the first 2 exams I got A's. I came to the final. I had a lot of finals that week. My school does not have a dead week, so it was my last day of classes, and then the very next day finals began. Actually, within that day, I think I had a final on the last day of class, maybe. But basically, it was spring semester sophomore year. I was pretty stressed out. I was doing a lot of things, and when I took that final, I came out of the classroom and I was like, I think it went okay. Maybe lost my A in the class, but maybe to like an A minus or something. I was listening to people outside the classroom talk about the test, and they started talking about the last problem, and I realized that I must have forgotten to do the last page. So I didn't do that last page of that exam. And really, if I had any I really just don't know what was going on in my brain, because instead of like walking back into the classroom and asking the professor like, hey, I don't think I did the last page, because I still had time at that point, people were still in there taking the exam, and I just like started to just feel really sad, and then I just like walked back to my apartment and just like was just sad the rest of the day. I just like accepted defeat, and I don't know why I did that, and so that's weird. But I didn't get an A in the class. I did really bad on that exam because I didn't do that last page. And I don't know, I think I had convinced myself that even if I had done the last page, I would have done better. I wasn't really giving myself the opportunity to do good, or I'm not one of the people who does good. So I got a B in that class, which kind of sucked. But because it was kind of a worthless fail, essentially. And I always wonder if that professor like noticed that I just like didn't do like last page and a half, and I wonder if, I don't know. But point is, maybe he thought that I really did look at it and just gave up, and I don't know. But that kind of sucks that I didn't even give myself the opportunity to attempt that or do anything about it. So that story came to me again this week. I'm going to tell you why. Okay, I'm going to try to make this last part quick, but if you watched the whole thing of my video, The Right to Vote, you saw at the end after the quote that I said I had a phone interview for medical school. Well, I had that phone interview this past Tuesday, and as I was waiting by the phone, I guess I could tell the whole story, but I'll just say that my appointment was at 10 a.m., and I was waiting for the call, and 10 happened, 10:01 happened, 10:02 happened. I was pretty nervous at this point. I was home alone, and I was thinking to myself, did I even have a phone interview? Was it a mistake? So I basically, by 10:17, I think there was a point between in that 10:17, in those 17 minutes, like I really did consider just like leaving it and being like, well, I guess I didn't get a phone interview. But I think by 10:17, I thought back to that whole incident in my DFEQ class and what happened, and I thought like, well, I'm not gonna not finish this. I'm gonna try to at least see. So I did call them, and what ended up happening was something had gone weird with their computer system, and the person who was supposed to call me did not get a notification. So then the interview happened, and it went through, and I think it went all right. I don't know. I won't know for a little while. Just playing the waiting game as it goes when you're applying. Yeah, so I made the call, and it turned out to be a mistake, and I fixed it, and I felt pretty good after that. But I remember in those 17 minutes, I was thinking, like, I'm home alone, and if I start, like, really panicking, no one's going to be here. And so I fixed it myself, and I'm really proud of myself for doing that. So I decided to share it, and that was the point of this whole video. But I took too long to say it. Okay.